Приветствую всех любителей интересного геймплея. Продолжаем проходить с вами диско Elysium. В прошлом фильме мы так неплохо с вами по побережью пробежались. Вот по этой вот части. Ну, до конца не добежали, вот до колеса обозрения. Ну и в принципе, поехали дальше. Что-то выполнять. Лайки прожмите, кстати, прожмите лайки. Сейчас я сориентируюсь, что мне делать. Время... Который час? 6 часов. Ну, время есть, время есть. Что у меня в руках? Блин, что у меня там за вот этот... Авторитет минус, эмпатия, внутренняя империя. Да и фиг с ним. Можно вообще не делать. А, этому мы птичку отдали. Какие у меня там вообще? Зайдите к речи с игральных костей за заказом. Время пришло. 8 часов, заберите заказ. Получено 18 часов. А, да только что получено. 4 минуты назад. Не, понятно. Эх, что делать-то? Вот эти пацаны.
Yes? What is it?
God damn it, you leave her alone. Keep your weird bullshit to yourself and be professional for once, for fuck's sake.
Can I actually help you with something?
Вы чё они просто не ответят? Чё они такие зануды? Вот почему крыша поехала у главного героя.
Yes, of course. Preposterous. I mean, you would remember if they were, right? Who forgets their squad mates? That's not possible.
Of course I'm with him. Why do you ask?
Он мудак.
And you look like you don't bathe, on principle.
Не моешься принципиально.
Please, let's not turn this into another exchange, okay?
Так, что они тут делают и вообще? И вообще. Вопросов миллиард. Мы служивцы мудаки, вот я что понял. Еще я думаю, что она все-таки очень сильно замешана. Очень сильно замешана. Поехали к Эврару зайдем. Здесь самый адекватный. Сейчас, может, какие-то новости про пистолеты знаем. Блин, думал, кто-то стоит новенький. Да, приятно отдалять. Вообще. Отдалять весьма приятно. Оп. А, не, я думал, это разрез. Подожди, это что так? А, это девчонки эти. Ну, как приятно перебегать стало. Пойдем. А, зачем я к нему-то иду? Мне надо отправить. Надо отправить по какому-то адресу. Да, уже раз пробежали. Соврать. Не, мы все правильно сделаем. Может быть, когда-нибудь потом мы его и будем обманывать, но сегодня нет. В этом прохождении. Че, я так и не понял, как мне, блин, быстрое перемещение сделать? С Куном мы так и не подружились. Пока просто бегаю, Не знаю, чем себя занять. Вот, наверное, здесь.
The dented yellow mailbox greets you with its graffito and bullet holes in the front.
Yes, for sending mail.
You drop the white envelope in the darkness. It lands with a soft thud on what sounds like a couple of letters. About a week's worth of mail as collected in there. They'll empty this very soon.
Let's go back to Evrard. This better be worth it after what we did.
Да, надеюсь, он того стоило. Ну, дамочка явно. Это вот она. Это самый первый. Вот, нас именно с ней знакомят. В первую очередь. Первый человек, с которым мы общаемся, вот эта дамочка. И она нам говорит... что же она там говорит-то? Когда придет время меня допрашивать, это не я его убила. Подожди, что за мысли? Синенькие мысли. Где? Во. Похоже, кто-то привык отдыхать здесь, слушая радио. Похоже на то, да. Она сказала, когда придет время меня допрашивать, вы можете об этом пожалеть, если мы сейчас подружимся. И это не она его убила. Все, что она сказала. А время придет, значит, ее допрашивать обязательно. Может быть, в самом конце. Все, Эврар, размягчай свой стул. Так, что это? Поставьте 2 подписи. Скажите Эврару, что отправили.
Mr. Dubois, every word. The golden boy returns once more. Wonderful. Simply wonderful, Harry. Of course. I already knew this.
Конечно, ты об этом уже знал.
My friend, the mailman, confirms the letter is on its way. You've done a great thing today. You've given the children of Martinez a real future, Harry, and I feel I can finally trust you now. You're in my inner circle. You too, Mr. Kitsuragi. We can talk about anything. The strike, the murder, your lost gun, nothing is off the table.
I don't know. Your dirty forgery fingers aren't sure if playing this one straight was the right thing to do. We would have preferred trickery, but the choice was yours, sire. As always, you are the liege, and you're in. Finally, answers. Ask away, son.
There was no fine print, Harry, but I do hope all that construction noise and limited street access encourages some people to move. After a year of that ruckus, who wouldn't?
3 года, он говорил вроде полгода.
Oops. Yes. The noise would do the trick. It'll be terrible.
And when they do, they will have a good place to go. I'm currently working on renovating the buildings near the roundabout into affordable workers' palaces.
So the village is doomed.
You were there, you saw the place, a wasteland, there's nothing left. But mark my words, officers, we are going to reset it. Reset! I have big plans for Martinez, and they do not include humans living in those pig sheds on the coast. That land will be used for municipal buildings and commerce. Harry, imagine a youth centre supermarket church complex, employing hundreds, no, thousands of people. The coast will be lit up with enterprise and life. All those ruins out there turned into low-income housing. Harry, enough is enough. We're taking this district back. The war was 50 years ago, for God's sake. It's time to move on.
Ну, в принципе, ничего плохого-то не произошло. Реально, если он их, вот это, жилье им новое даст, в принципе, даже лучше. Молодежный торгово-церковный комплекс.
I accept your salute, Harry. All of it is true. I've got the centre, I've got room for a retail complex, and in 4 years I'll get the church too. The wheels are turning, Harry. The wheels of progress. This post-war limbo, I won't stand for it. There are kids practically playing with their own feces out there. It cannot go on.
There is true indignation in his voice when he speaks about the state of things, and even a touch of pain. The pain is true. He's seen kids do worse than that. And then there will be a giant statue of him, towering above it all.
Мне нравится эмпатия прокает. У меня 11. Хорошо. Болевой порог почему-то со мной начал разговаривать.
Oh, I do, Harry. I really do. I'm gonna make the working man richer than Joyce Messier with that vote of yours. That's my job. Just like yours is to keep the peace.
A true flash of anger in him, as he thinks of her.
При мысли о ней. О чем о ней? Человека богаче, чем Джойс. Которая с лодкой. Так мы с ней не поговорили. Сейчас этим займемся.
I did not, Harry. Although I am very, very glad he's dead. Why, a war, of course.
And what do you have to gain from a war?
Victory, Mr. Kitsuragi. I have victory to gain. We are going to start a war with the Wild Pines group and win before they even realize there is a war. Harry, we outnumber them 1,500 to 1. And that's just Martinez. With all the unions in Revachol, and with public opinion on our side, we can hold off 2 men, or 15 men, or even 50 men. The more they send, the worse it's going to look for them. They made a huge mistake hiring those guys. No one likes foreign mercenaries. The leftists hate them, the fascists hate them, even the moralists think they're in bad taste.
Ультралибералы. Социал-эконом. Что за ультралиберальные? Плюс 1 реал. О, ультралиберальные варианты в диалогах дают плюс 1 реал. Можно.
You're not an ultra-liberal, Harry. Get the fuck out of here. Don't be a retard.
Никакой не ультралиберал. Типа, иди в жопу.
Harry, there is no strike, only war. Class war. Or, in business terms, a dawn raid. Or wait. Is that when you still pay them something? Because we won't do that. We're not going to give nothing. We're going to take Terminal B away from them. The roads, the gates, the containers, that big crane, even the damn coffee maker. We're going to take all of it for the people, and fuck Wild Pines.
The word fuck rings like a gunshot from his mouth. He doesn't swear often.
Он не часто использует, вообще он часто использует ненормативную лексику.
So that's why you haven't let Joyce in?
Yes. It's also why I let that midget Gaumont go. He's too nice. I can't put him through this. Plus, he knows how to get in here. That woman can't tell her tits from her arsehole. She has no chance. Tits from her arsehole. It's a local saying. Because we're friends, Harry. Besides, it doesn't matter now. You can go tell her if you want. It won't change the course of events. We have a significant head start.
Прикольно, прикольно. То есть смотрите, как он разговорился-то.
It's already happening. 2,372. Plus yours truly, of course.
2,373 is a sizable contingent for a labor organization in Revachol.
Oh, you mean what sort of goods are going to be flowing through? How am I going to replace all the contacts we'll lose once the poo-poo hits the fan? The clients will ditch us. Harry, we've thought of everything.
Clients would take a well-known multinational conglomerate over a local mobster any day.
Все. Что? Что все-то? Гарри, ты все... А, мы все продумали. Все.
We've been running back channel negotiations with all the major clients. I think the company will be unpleasantly surprised to see how many of them stay loyal to Martinez and to the new competitive contracts we can offer. With renewed zeal sparked by communal ownership, the men will be shipping those containers double time. You'll be surprised to see how fast things go without parasites latching on. We'll have our hands free to pursue bold, exotic new revenue streams. Haven't you seen the crates outside, Harry? There's all sorts of fun stuff inside them. I mean, heck, this one has you and the lieutenant, me, and my novelty swordfish clock.
You should definitely come back here and ask again if you learn more about the Union's dealings. There's something he's not telling you.
Harry, I've got to be honest with you. Your gun was found 2 days ago. Withholding this information weighed heavily on me, but it had to be done.
Ублюдок.
An old woman has it, and let me tell you, Harry, word on the street is she's a character, so watch out.
Это которая молчаливая старушка.
This must be the woman who bought the gun from Roy, the one he described as terrifying.
Yes, the same one. I see you've done your research. The pawn shop made the gun easy to track. Crazy stuff, Harry. Selling your gun like that? Wild. Anyway, the neighbors of this old woman contacted my men because they trust me and the Debarders Union. Apparently, she was waving it around at the entrance to her building.
То есть он знает просто где, кто купил. Но это не по его просьбе. Мне придется еще со старушкой договариваться.
Waving the gun around doesn't sound good. None of this does.
As I said, she's a character. I didn't have time for details. It sounds like she's unstable, but don't worry. No one got hurt.
Unstable is good, actually. She will be easier to disarm. No, wait. Actually, unstable is pretty bad.
Unfortunately, I don't know anymore. You're gonna have to go in blind, Harry. But she's an old lady. How dangerous can she possibly be? Oh, and she calls herself the Pigs.
Мусоркой. Пикс. Полицейская она себя называет.
I, for one, find it refreshing. Finally, someone calls themselves a pig.
I already have. Tonight, starting 10 o'clock, near the old fish market on the coast. The one on the boardwalk, a little past the fishing village. Be careful, Harry. I would never set you up for anything dangerous, but you did ask for this. Now, back to the fun stuff.
Нет, какая-то другая старушка.
More fun stuff. Seems like we already have fun stuff to do.
Great, Harry, great. I think we have truly built a bridge between Martinez and Jamrock today. We have united the RCM and the Debarders Union. This has been so great. I'm sorry we don't have more fun things to do together, but if you ever feel like bouncing something off me, my door is always open. I'm always happy to educate. Very nice.
Понятно. Все, с Эбраром мы вообще закончили. С мусоркой заберите свой пистолет, поговорите. Некая женщина ходит по улицам, прикидываясь сотрудницей полиции и размахивая вашим пистолетом направо-налево. Встретитесь с ней в 10 часов возле старого рыбацкого рынка, получите обратно свое табельное оружие, идите через рыбацкую деревню, пока не увидите пирс. Ой, что мне тут еще узнаете всю правду о реальности? Это с этой стороны как раз поговорить. В чем заключается загадка раз. Добавьте идеи в современную теорию раз. Ячейку у дерева идей, чтобы усвоить. Если нет свободных ячеек, освободите ячейку. Подождите некоторое время. Вот что значит современный мыслитель. Возвращайтесь Когда идея свойств, возвращайтесь к головомеру. Не хочу спорить под караоке, исследовать потайные коридоры танцев. Кто позвонил в участок? Даже если у вас нет никаких очевидных зацепок, продолжайте искать звонившего. На это может потребоваться некоторое время. Татуировки жертвы. Поспрашивать о том, что могут значить татуировки. Кто сложил одежду в мусор. Спросите Куна, знает ли он что-нибудь о том, как одежда жертвы попала в мусор. У кого еще есть несанкционированный доступ к мусору танцев. Найдите этого человека, и вы узнаете, кто подтасовал улики на месте преступления. На это может уйти время. Спросите Гарта, что он знает о том, как это я сделал. Сигареты покурите. Возьмите показания у представительницы Wild Pines. Тот как раз я не сделал. Спиды. Найдите Морелла, криптозоолога. Свой авторитет. Поднимите свой авторитет в глазах парней. Поговорите с Титом. Блин. Как-то с Титом можно поговорить, не понимаю. И поднять через разговор свой авторитет. Блин, вообще расследование заходит в тупик. Не, ну нет, конечно, но становится. Это сложные такие уже вопросы приходится решать. Дверь, по-моему, заблокирована. Что у меня там, кстати? Разблокировано. Витражное окно. Коробка с защитными очками. Повешенный. Окно в кафетерии. Подожди, окно в кафетерии. А что за витражное окно? А, понятно. В кафетерии. Карта на стене. Карта на стене. А, ну понятно. Тит Харли. Авторитет немыслимо. Лильена рыбачка. Дверь в церковь. Дверь в церковь уже... Ну, я ее уже открыл. Уже фигня полная. Ладно, поехали какие-нибудь проверки пройдем. К Тису зайдем. Гляну, что там у него вообще можно это сделать. Прокрутить проверочку. Если можно, сейчас крутанем. Окошко. Я даже не знаю окошко. Может быть, оно разблокируется само. А может... Да, вот проще подождать на самом деле. Чтобы 2 раза. Хотя, с другой стороны, можно 2 раза заходить. А разблокируется ли окно самостоятельно вот в 9 часов, если я сейчас его заблокирую? Сейчас не пройду проверку. Видите, что напрягает меня, капец.
Looks like the circus left town, but the clowns are still here.
Он немыслимо. Странная реакция на пули. Враг велел сотрудничать. Обсуждали 8-го Харди. Проявил слабость при первой встрече. Низкие шансы. Сколько надо выбить? 16. У меня 1. А, 1 плюс 4. У меня 5. Это мне надо 5-6 выбить, ё-моё. Давай глянем.
Establish authority. Yes. Authority. Feverish thoughts race through your mind.
Затопать ногами. Ткнуть пальцем, повернуть с колеса над кем? Мне нужен твой пистолет. О, это меня могут пристрелить нафиг. Это все, вариантов получше у меня нет.
Did you already try the gun thing? I hear the gun thing is excellent and has great results.
Приносит отлично. Блин, меня сейчас убьют нафиг.
You're probably right. The others are only there for filler, to make the gun thing pop.
Блин, ну давай.
Why?
This is not what he thinks it is. This is a great idea. I'm afraid it's not what you think it is either.
Блин.
Yes, you. Stop talking out loud. You sound like you're unraveling.
What in the name of fuck are you doing?
But I don't want to give you my gun, not after the last time.
The fuck is happening, Titus? What are they whispering about?
Easy, Shanks. I want to see where this is going.
Да, я тоже хочу посмотреть, куда это зайдет. Я не более чем плоть. Я хочу назад. Куда назад?
There is no.
Detective, we don't have to demonstrate anything. Let's just get back to the questions. Police job?
The pressure in the room grows to a boiling.
Be careful, it's loaded.
Your fingers wrap around the handle. The index slides into the trigger loop. Do it. Go on. Good. Now put it in your mouth.
А, к себе в рот. Ну, короче, узрите это. Вот, я вам показал. Пистолет становится слишком страшно. Они не испугаются. Их это не напугает.
What are you doing?
Genuine panic flies across the lieutenant's face.
Fellas, you getting any of this?
Никогда не сотрете из памяти то, что произойдет. Ну, это вообще бред. Че, серьезно? Я себя пристрелю? Будете меня уважать. Дернуть крючок. Ну, это до свидуля.
Deranged cop.
Квиксейв. Где мы сохранились с самого начала? Или что? Не понял. Отправили письмо? Не, письмо здесь. Ну, ё-моё. 18-16. Понятно. Бредятина вообще. Как я этих парней, которые...
The dented yellow mailbox.
Yes.
You drop the about to.
Let's go back to Everard.
Ой, не то нажал.
There is a hot. Your toe has.
Cool. You really...
The lieutenant.
Ой, бля. Так. По авторитету ничего не бьет. Блин, сколько одежды, ё-моё. А, это эмпатия. Блин, эмпатия. Ну ладно, единица эмпатии забей. И подпись Леврата. Авторитет -1. Что это? Визуальный анализ минус. Левый вариант ответов дают плюс 4 очка опыта. Левый вариант ответов дает 4 очка опыта. Тоже такое себе. Можно выкинуть, я считаю. А, подожди, ну чё же я не круто.
Looks like the circus left town, but the clowns are still here.
Establish authority. Yes. Authority.
Stop shitting your pants. You don't need to know, all right? We took care of it. The law handled it, all right?
Yeah. Aren't you listening? It's done. Finito.
No, asshole. You're nobody. I'm the law.
Stop yelling about the goddamn law in my establishment! We get it. You're all the law.
Let's just all cool off. We had some questions, that's all.
A witness? You ain't got shit. The locals would never come to you with this.
That's just tactics, Titus. Next, he's gonna tell you one of us already roll on the others, and is in witness protection.
Well, let's hear it then. Who is your mystery fella?
This goes without saying, but nonetheless, don't give out his name.
Блин, Шарль Вильдруа, это он? Я не помню его имени. И где он работает. О, где он живет. Неважно, кто он. Чиновник этого достаточно.
It's like you said, Al. Copper's coming up with this on the spot. There is no witness.
I've seen this shit a million times, Titus. Fly fishing. They are desperate. Tell us, Copper, what wacky claims did he make?
Другого шума.
It's you assholes that feel the need to go around like a fucking brass band. The Hardy Boys are dead silent.
Yeah, it's like they put cowbells on you before they send you to the streets.
Great witness.
Okay, maybe it doesn't feel like this did anything to them,
Oh.
but they have to be fretting a little. Everyone is afraid of witnesses. Witness is a scary word.
Давай еще раз.
This time it's going to work. You already ruled out the first bad option that didn't.
Первый плохой нерабочий вариант. То есть с пистолетом, может, и сработает.
And what exactly is it you've been doing that's so goddamn special? Shitting yourself in front of us. Going around, harassing kids on the street. Kids who've done nothing wrong. All the while talking racist shit. Don't think we aren't watching, fascia. People here trust us. We're getting complaints.
Fascia. That's short for fascist.
У меня пистолета-то нет.
What are you talking about? Guns are the only thing you have. Waving them around old ladies' faces. Trying to gun down kids.
Callie said they've been trying to set up a mass execution. Bulk purchasing guns, ammunition too.
I can believe that. Carly works in a gun shop, you see.
Oh my god, the art. They're using it against you. This is all a twisted fantasy.
There's no mass execution, officer. Just ask questions and don't get sidetracked.
Please don't set up a mass execution. You'll never be able to pull it off. The logistics alone are insane. Just ask questions. Be a normal cop.
Окей. Даже две проверки прокрутил. На пару процентов эти проверки, правда. Но возьмем
Behind
количеством.
the dock workers, a ceiling height window.
Так, ну теперь можно сюда забежать. Надо ли оно мне... Да, сначала к нему, потом к ней уже. И с ней уже конкретно пообщаемся.
Mr. Dubois, the golden boy, my friend, you're in my inner...
I don't know. We would have finally answers. Ask away.
There was no
Oops.
And when they...
So the village is doomed.
You were there. Reset. Harry. Harry, enough is enough. We're taking this district... Yes, I do. I got the center, I got room for a retail complex, and in 4 years, I'll get the church too. The wheels are already turning, Harry. The wheels of progress. This post-war limbo...
There is true indignation in his voice when he speaks about the state of things. The pain is true. And then there will be a giant statue of him.
I'm not a symbolist, Harry. I'm a realist. My statue will be Martinez rebuilt. 5-story building complexes, kids off speed, and landowners in a zone hating me. That will be my statue. And yours. We're doing this together. Damn right I'm up to something, Harry. I'm gonna make the working man as rich as Joyce Messier. That's my job. Just like yours is to keep the peace.
A true flash of anger in him, as he thinks of her.
I did not, Harry. Although I am very, very glad he's dead. Why a war, of course.
And what do you have to gain from a war?
Victory, Mr. Kitsuragi. Harry, the more they send, the worse it's going to look for. You're not an ultra-liberal, Harry. Get the fuck out of here. Don't be a retard. Harry, there is no strike, only war. We're not gonna give nothing. We're gonna take terminal...
The word
So that's why you haven't let...
Yes. It's also why I let that midge... Because we're friends, Harry. It's already happening. 2,300...
2,300
Oh.
Clients would take a well-known multinational conglomerate over a low...
Sure, some will go, but mark my words. The company will be unpleasantly surprised to see how many... With renewed zeal spark, haven't you seen...
You should definitely come...
Harry, I've got to be honest. Your gun is with an old woman. I hear she's a character, so watch out.
This must be the woman who bought the gun from Roy.
Yes, the neighbors...
Waving the gun around doesn't sound good. None of this does.
As I said...
Unstable is good, actually.
Unfortunately...
I, for one, find it refreshing.
I already have...
More fun stuff.
Great, Harry. This...
Ну окей. Так, секунду, что за ботинки у меня? Плюс 1 к способу косвенного налогообложения. Всего одну монетку дали? Чё, одну-то монетку дали? Зачем я тогда эти ботинки таскаю? Плюс 1 к способу косвенного налогообложения. Как оно там? Считать варианты в диалогах. Одну монетку дали вроде. Так, сейчас гляну. Да, только одну монетку дали. Негодяи обманули. Количество игральных, поговорите с мусоркой. Ну все, поехали. Все, осталось только эта женщина на яхте. Имя ее пока запоминать ни к чему. Так, 3. Авторитет, где он там у нас? Вот, 1. Не уверен, что мне нужен. Скоро я так или иначе Харди победю. Просто количеством прокруток. Не, ну в принципе мне надо сейчас качать. Чтобы новые прокрутки получить, мне надо качать авторитет. Окей. Ну, может попозже, может попозже. Разблокирую. Авторитет не самый... Блин, на самом деле столько всего прокачать хочется. Авторитет не самый главный. Я хочу логику, визуальный анализ скачнуть. Ну, эмпатию не сильно. Текст. Давайте Куна заберегу еще, гляну. Ну, жалко, здесь через забор нельзя перемахнуть. Он там сидит. Подружка моя.
Kuno's like Kuno's dad? Kuno doesn't give a fuck about anything. Kuno doesn't fucking care.
Подожди. Секрет, кто сложил одежду в мусор. Спросить у Кона, знает ли он что-нибудь одежда попала. Вот это и надо спросить.
Kuno's like Kuno fucking right.
Ой.
Don't be yanking your shit and
Lying, he's got to at least know a source.
the fuck about it. Just a couple.
Yeah, you tell the faggoty Kuno.
Your test.
Get lost.
Yeah. The king.
Whoa.
Yeah, Kuno doesn't know shit about that. That shit is beneath Kuno. Listen, listen. Kuno doesn't care about this small time shit. Just listen. Kuno saw what you did there, dumpster diving. Sad shit. Kuno could hook you up with some sweet rags. Shit like Kuno's wearing. Your size, good price. 500 real.
500 реалов.
You'd have to be blind not to notice the giant white letters FALN running down his trouser leg.
Look, Kuno ain't seen shit lying around. Except for that you took away. Now you want performance gear or not, Grandpa?
The lieutenant remains silent, but his expression couldn't say, "I told you so," any louder.
Whatever. Kuno was trying to help you, but you're too fat for fouling anyway, pig. The fuck? A mug in the trash? Is this about the fucking clothes again?
Правдивые изображения.
Yeah, Kuno sees where this is going. Kuno's got that fast brain. You saying you pigs are after the mug fucker, 'cause he's the clothes fucker?
I can't hear you, Kuno. Speak louder, Kuno.
Shit, that's tense. Someone's going to the beat-down basement, huh? Mug guy gonna get tied to the radiator.
The kid may have something there. He's already come up with an interrogation technique too.
Kuno doesn't know who put that shit in there. And if he did, he wouldn't squeal. But if you find out, maybe you can...
Tell the Kuno who it was. He's curious. He likes putting 2 and 2 together.
Stop turning into a pig, Kuno. They're trying to get you hooked on the snitching. Get away from my Kuno.
Yeah, get your bacon shit away. Kuno doesn't like to be seen with the popo. Get your shit done and out of Kuno's face. Yeah, whatever. Kuno doesn't give a shit. Yeah, the kingdom of Kuno. The fuck do you want with it?
Ну, все, он больше одежды не даст. Лестница, лазал по ней, указать на лестницу на дереве.
Yeah, whatever. Kuno doesn't give a shit. Kuno doesn't...
Очень жаль, очень жаль. Бутылочек новых не завозят. А могли бы, да? Твой номер в танцах не сильно больше этой яхточки. Она стоит больше, чем ты когда-либо сможешь заработать.
A striking woman leans against the cabin top of her sailing boat, smiling as you approach. Her green raincoat glistens with droplets. A silk scarf is tied around her throat.
Так, ну давайте с ней нормально пообщаемся сейчас.
Good afternoon, officers. I'm Joyce. Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbour. You gentlemen must be from the RCM.
Не пожимать руку, как вы догадались.
Nothing, honestly. I've said it to every drunk in town, and you're the first one who's responded.
Relax. She meant it in jest.
Phaeton, my maiden name.
пожать, не пожимать.
I'm glad to see you here.
Like steel, there is strength there. If she wanted, she could sink her nails deep into your skin.
I was dispatched to handle a strike, not a lynching. Anything I can do to assist the RCM in this matter, I will, gladly.
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview. I should let you know that he is recovering from an unusual medical episode. Very unusual. But I can assure you of his ultimate competency.
Ну, о мире мы попозже поспрашиваем, в
There's a
самом
trace of
конце.
irony in his voice. Mischief even. The lieutenant is hatching some scheme.
How interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation, and the full cooperation of the Wild Pines group.
Ну,
Why,
поехали.
yes, I am.
В прошлый раз Ким когда-то нам сказал, что надо ее это развести прям по-жесткому. Всякие неадекватные вопросы ей задавать. То есть судно у меня есть имя. У меня есть имя? А, у нее есть имя.
Of course there are. We're on an archipelago. How else are you supposed to get around? Yes, we are. We are on Le Caillou. We are. And the city of Revachol is on the island of Le Caillou. I haven't seen anyone else drive a souped-up Capri Kenema motor carriage either.
Actually, that motor carriage has been specially issued to serve as a patrol, and it's for crossing long distances in a great...
Neither is this. A toy, I mean. It's a machine for crossing long distances in the Bay of... The boat? No. It is called Cordelati 19. It's a pleasure craft. A 19 pacer. It also happens to be rated for Category 1 racing. My sloop? I like it a lot. It's the eel's hips, baby.
I'm enjoying this part of the interview. It has so little to do with the murder we're investigating.
Что-то мне эти неадекватные ответы не дают.
Officer, I assure you I'm a highly qualified pleasure craft operator.
The crowns of her teeth are porcelain, white as the boat's hull as she smiles. Qualified pleasure craft operator. So charming. Where's the damn license?
Это ей не надо.
Why wouldn't it be? This is Revachol, Wayfarer. Good. Of course, detective.
Так, хочу приодеться немного. Эмпатия. Давай эмпатию закинем. Давай психикой закинемся. Тут что у нас? Физиология. Интеллект плюс. Интеллект плюс. Давай.
There it is. A brave little army in your pocket. The first Smokes platoon. 20 brave souls standing in salute, ready to step into fire for you, sir. You picked the best one. This soldier is fat and succulent. What are you waiting for? Light up. Re-become yourself.
Бля, какие эти диалоги крутые.
Get a load of this rock and roll cop here, people. Johnny Thundercop fishes a cheap lighter out of his pants. With a flick of the thumb, there's fire. A primal satisfaction. Here we go. The lighter's dark green disposable plastic. Safety's off. In your case, the safety is always off. Repercussions. There's a high risk of glory, with a mild chance, cool genius. Smoking makes you into an intellectual. Everybody knows that. It will help you concentrate a bit. That much is true. Thick, warm smoke gets sucked down into your lungs. Immediately, you feel a warm nostalgia fill your head, body, and soul. A nostalgia for yourself. The man you were in your youth. Johnny Thundercop is back, and he's chill as balls. Why does art inspire you so much? Excellent question. Art is a diverse range of visual, literary, auditory, and performative creativity. It's an expression of imagination and technical skill. Additionally, it's history, criticism, and pure enjoyment. In short, art is the highest form of human communication, representation, narrative, emotion, and agency intertwined. Have you looked in the mirror lately? To be honest, you have the exact features of the modern artist, with that wild hair and those clothes. Perhaps you should try to write poetry someday and critique architecture. Of course not. It's autism, box drawing, masturbation with a ruler and a sextant or whatever they use. You should demean and criticize the genteel institution of architecture while extolling the virtues of the pure arts. Only the most experimental kind. Yes, you seek substance. No vapid representations and reproductions of social mores as made manifest in stuffy biennials. We're talking real, living art here. Become the art cop. Half art critic, half cop. Exactly. It's not only your duty to only catch the criminals off the street, you must also apprehend criminals of the printing press and the gallery, the trite and derivative artists and writers of the world. Go ahead and provide savage criticisms, art cop. The world is yours to rip to pieces and reassemble.
Смотреть не могу на это говно. Ну, поехали. Скованные движения. Не, ну давай. Усваивать все. Давай еще что-нибудь усвоим. Внушение минус 42 минуты. 3 часа. Давай 42 минуты. Внушение минус. Так, что там по карте-то? Кафетерий, карты на стене, блин. Блин, эту штуку как ее удалить нафиг? Лильен. Дверь в церковь, стена на заднем дворе. Концептуализация открылась. Витражное окно. Забей.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? What we do? I'm afraid I don't speak for Wild Pines as a whole. It's a giant undertaking.
There was a touch of discomfort there. She wants to merely represent.
The Pines' core competency is logistics. Container shipping, freight, that sort of thing. See those airships there, blinking? Those are the shipping side of things. And that is the terminal. Another subdivision deals with energy, oil and gas exploration, offshore platforms.
The Wild Pines Group is one of the original Revacholian Indo-tribes. Companies awarded royal monopolies by the king, the suzerain himself, centuries ago. The king is long gone, but several of the Indo tribes remain. Son-Baptiste, Elysium, an unknown entity known as Brightest Star.
Why, thank you. I'm not at liberty to discuss the company balance sheet, but I can tell you that last year, the company booked more than 20 billion real in revenue. And to think, there are years when the group books losses in the billions.
Вот, да, смотрите. Волна ударяется о борт яхты, и это было слышно.
Walpines employs 72,000 people, all of whom have families that depend on their salaries. It is a tremendous responsibility. They started as an exploration and cargo fleet conducting trade between the Samarran and Insulindian Isolas 250 years ago, when pine ships explored the South Seminese and charted Lomantang on behalf of the suzerain. Centuries of care, deliberation, and madness have gone into this endeavor. Vessels pass through the great unrest to re-emerge with apricots in tow. The logic of the system is totalizing. It's taken everything from its employees to build it. You know more than you let on. Certainly it helped, but most of the original Indo tribes have failed or been absorbed. To survive, Walpines had to grow and adapt. No suzerain did that. You mean aside from being the terminal's legal owners, who are responsible for moving 8% of the world's cargo? We built this district.
We. There it is. She owns up to it.
All the best parts of it. Rue de Saint-Ghislain, with its bastions. The plazas, Meteor and Mosaic. Even some of the old street lamps have been put back thanks to the investments from the WP. Before Martinez was swallowed by the industrial harbour, even before it was part of Revachol, long before Terminal B was erected here, the Pines built it as a resort for its Revacholian employees. A company getaway, for a weekend or a summer holiday. Then came the revolution. But that's another matter. I'm here to make sure the Pines can fulfill their responsibilities to the place they built.
Так, нас выкинуло, да?
Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets. First, you'd have to repeal the Emergencies Act of Trade in Aliments. That gives me the right to silence. It's quite the octopus. Good luck is only kept in place by the vested interests of half the civilized world, including your own.
What the ma'am means is that the Emergencies Act and the RCM both get their authority from the coalition government.
You'd be shooting yourself in the foot, in other words. Did someone say shooting yourself in the foot?
I imagine a man like you can take quite the lashing. But I believe we are talking about the strike. I believe the official title is Senior Labor Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk. I relay the union's demands to Wild Pines and return with Wild Pines' counteroffer.
No way. She's more. She can make decisions.
And how are the talks going?
Банки, ты помог немножко.
They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped all negotiations a week ago, after that awful lynching took place. Now they won't even let me into the harbour. There's a 2-meter-20 racist behemoth blocking the gates.
Теория расы, ну велика. Лепный учитель.
Oh, so you've met him. Has he beguiled you with his inane theories?
My colleague has his peculiarities. Let's not go into this particular one just yet.
Of course. To each their own. Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first arrived.
And when did you first arrive?
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then. I prefer to do these things on site, like the RCM.
But the strike began in December.
I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused to speak with Gaumont despite concessions he'd granted the union in prior negotiations.
This isn't the first time the union has gone on strike?
Heavens no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical plan. This time their demands are more, I guess you could say, aggressive.
Ludicrous even. It's meant.
Mr. Clare told him to... how did he put it? Fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see. Yes. Extremely. Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before, and who was more than fair with him and the union. Mr. Clare told him to... how did he put it? Fuck off, midget. Yes. Keep in mind, this is a negotiator. Mr. Clare has worked... There are leaflets everywhere, and banners. What did they... every worker.
Most of the workers probably don't know what that means.
In its defense, another said, demand democracy. Pretty tame stuff compared to every worker a member of the board. Fortunately, they explained it. Every time the Wild Pines group makes a decision about anything, just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines. Essentially, not only are they kings of the company, they're having a blast. But how can they afford it? After 4 months, my assumption was they would prefer a more practical solution. I'm not sure. Naturally, I assume that was just their opening position, a hard-nosed tactic with a side of mockery. But there's been no follow-up, just the same nonsensical slogan repeated over and over again. And now, people are getting lynched, I hear. Behind the whirling in rags. A disastrous situation if there ever was one.
Excuse me, from whom did you hear about this lynching?
I first heard it from the bowyer at the gates. The one whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think he said it was, call me mañana.
This checks out. No, wait. The chief negotiator heard it from a man at the gates. Surely the Wild Pines group has more effective channels of information. After all, 2,200 people are on strike. This is a big deal for them.
Ну да, что-то непонятно как-то. Это который на лестнице сидит. Маньяна. Она с ним типа общалась, и он ей доложил. Ну, доложил, не доложил. Ляпнул, что есть самосуд. Там уже все знали. В принципе, ничего страшного в этом нет. Интересно.
The scabs? You mean the huddled masses of Jamrog, come to plead for work where the Union refuses to? If they were organized by Wild Pines or its affiliates, then it would be a company secret. I could not share it with you. Not right now, at least.
It's implied. She's open to discussing this matter with you at a later occasion.
Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about him, it's that he always puts the interests of the workers first. Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous goo where you and I have blood.
If you were to prick it with something sharp, you could see it oozing out. A knife, maybe? No, a rapier.
Oh, heavens, no. We get along just fine. Yet, now that you mention it, I can't stop imagining that black treacle just dribbling down his double chin. He is the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there is anyone more venal, more irredeemably nepotistic, then it's his twin brother, Edgar. Have you seen him? Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Everard does, and when one's term as foreman is up, the other takes over. It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues. The Débardeurs Union was once a perfectly normal institution. 20 years ago, anyway. It must not have been easy to establish under the Emergency Act, but they did it. I can respect that. Organised labour at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local chapter elections. The brothers Clare came and transformed it into a... how do you say...
a mob. The Débardeurs are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be, we are forced to cooperate with them.
Refreshingly honest, officer. The company has tried appeasing in the past, but I'm afraid our concessions have only emboldened Everard and his brother.
Так, еще раз. Компания пыталась найти компромисс, но, боюсь, поблажки и уступки только раздразнили аппетит.
And your opinion, detective, if I may ask? I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. Would you say the Débardeurs Union is...
Защита прав. Прямо сейчас.
Thank you for being candid. Sadly, Wild Pines have cooperated with what amounts to a crime syndicate for 2 decades. However much you feed the wolf always hungers. I'm glad you asked. There was a woman, the previous forewoman of the Union. She disappeared.
Disappeared?
Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running anymore. or coming to work. Ever. End of story. Downright haunting, if you ask me. The Wild Pines suspected foul play, but what could they do? It was a union matter. The point of the presentation is, these kinds of things happen around the Clares. Watch out when you're dealing with him.
Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine.
Of course. How else can I help? You have? And how did you like Mr. Clare?
Finally, time to choose sides.
Здесь столько капитала.
What? I am afraid you have misread the situation, Detective. This is not some feudal conflict. It is a negotiation.
Как он сказал? Dissociation? Ну, это negotiation, да. Let me speak from my heart, как говорится. Но когда dissociation. Ну, во-первых, да, я монетку хотел получить. Во-вторых, идет война. Она про это еще не знает.
And if it were a conflict, the RCM would not pick sides. My colleague's unusual approach to police work does not represent the organization at this time.
Химдаля.
Well, I can't stop you, can I? Just understand that I don't expect you to share anything he told you with me. I'm not a corrupt verm myself. However, if you felt like passing some information, how could I stop you? Are we not human? Are we not curious to hear another person's take? It's only natural. We would only be gossiping.
Intellectually speaking, it would be quite interesting to hear what she has to say about these things. Tell her she'll like you for it.
Расскажи, что понравится. Говорит, не в поисках моего пистолета.
Oh. That's so helpful of him.
The lieutenant looks at you, and you can swear his jaw muscle is trembling.
Unconventional police officers sometimes lose their guns. They then go around and tell people about this, to gauge their reactions. It's all part of detecting.
Incredible. Simply incredible. And how is it going? Has this detecting produced a gun? Yes. As you said.
Please, don't get him in a loop. If he gets in a loop, it will last forever. Ask him to say something else, please.
That's wrong. You don't get into loops.
Of course. Thank you for the advice. I'm glad you were here to assist. Your other dealings with Everard are still of considerable
The lieutenant will be more lenient toward sharing those, hopefully.
Одну дверь, попросил мне доставить один... Кстати, дверь
A
интересная.
referral, you mean? I take it this was for someone in the RCM. Don't answer that.
Нет, дверь открыть.
My liege, this woman has half convinced herself already. All it would take is a little nudge.
Открыть обычную дверь в квартиру одного человека.
Oh my. A real door.
The lieutenant does not say anything, but you hear the nylon of his jacket rustle as he looks at you.
Ну да, мне интересно.
My. What I'm hearing is you inspected a premises because you suspected that it was involved in the narcotics trade.
Или обыск помещения, потому что подозревали, что его владелец замешан в торговле наркотиками.
And in the process, you turned up some information relevant to your investigation. Only from Efrat, surprisingly.
Her bartering mind cannot fathom that you didn't ask anything in return.
Ничего не попросил взамен.
Frankly, what was done was not pretty at all, but neither was it illegal, and it was not for nothing. I advise you to be very selective with what information you choose to share. This may have consequences beyond our line of sight.
Misinformation. This is all because we haven't shared information on the lynching yet. See? Already the adversary uses it to their advantage. Don't let him. Hurry up on that probe. The moment you tell me you're finished at the traffic jam, I will gladly tell you the company's side of the story.
She must really want you to look into the drugs. Otherwise, she'd tell you.
Блин, какой контрабанд наркотиков, она про это еще не говорила.
She was worried for a moment that she's overplayed her hand by not sharing info sooner. Then she settles down, curious to hear more.
В какой-то момент ее даже охватило беспокойство, что она поступила неправильно, не поделившись сведениями раньше. Торопитесь с проверкой. У меня нет этого задания. Вот, я сейчас только это делаю. У меня нет такого задания. Но он не приказывал.
Naturally, Detective. There are lighter topics to gossip about. Of course, Detective. Should something come up later, down the road, don't be afraid to drop by for a chat. Until then, is there anything I can help you with?
Блин, она вообще да ничего. Говорит, что Уалпайнс отправил наемников. Это дезинформация. Нифига не выдает.
That's the man who was killed. I'm afraid this is a discussion for once we've cleared the lynching question.
Стас с Масудом.
Better not tie the fourth day to the bat's day on this. I hope there is something else I can help you with.
She wants to answer the question. Protocol keeps her from it.
Quite a few things, I'm afraid. The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. I am Lieutenant Kitsuragi, from Precinct 57.
Pleased to meet you, Lieutenant.
She's memorizing your badge number.
It is a relief to see a double Euphrator here. The situation is precarious, to say the least. It needs a quick solution, or we will have a bloodbath on our hands. Yes. I'm afraid this strike may descend into a small-scale civil war, with possible consequences for all of Rivershoal West.
Since you are sharing, ma'am, this is also the RCM's worst-case scenario.
Then we're on the same page, as grim as it may be. I have an indirect role to play, I'm sad to say. My employer experienced a momentary lapse of faith in me. In that moment, they elected to deploy a private military contractor as an insurance measure. They called it my security detail.
Блин, сначала надо было вот это, потом говорить, что я ходил к Эврару. Ну, вот этот, в подвал спускался по просьбе Эврара. Так, к сожалению, это отчасти моя вина. В какой-то момент мой работодатель разуверился в моих силах. Компания решила привлечь частного военного подрядчика, чтобы постраховаться. Моей охраны кровяной потери веры.
Absolutely not. These mercenaries are muscle, pure and simple. They are meant to intimidate the Union into surrendering.
Who are they, exactly?
Crenell, an Oranese military company. As far as I know, 3 arrived in Martinez. They report to me sporadically, but they do not answer to me. To be frank, our relationship is deteriorating. They wear ceramic armor, have semi-automatic weapons, and years of combat experience. They also have trauma and stressor disorder, and no idea how to conduct themselves in an urban civilian environment.
Не понимаю, как себя вести в мирной жизни.
So, what happened?
The story is, one of them, the colonel, I don't know his real name, sexually assaulted a local woman while he was drunk and separated from his unit. This allowed some of the more militant Union members to subdue him. He was taken out behind the whirling in rags and lynched last Sunday night. Nothing. Mr. Clare refuses to let me into the harbour. I have not been able to discuss this matter with anyone there. The remaining 2 Crenell contractors carry out their orders, for now. It's a smokescreen. In secret, they are conducting an independent military tribunal into the lynching. Once this investigation is concluded, executions will follow.
What is the nature of this so-called investigation?
Whether to execute one, some, or all of the Union militants.
It'll be all of them. The decision is already made.
Это будут все из них. Это решение уже принято. Должен признать, это вообще не диско.
Surely you're joking. These people are killers. My only hope is that yours provides a single, concrete suspect before they indiscriminately pick theirs. Simply put, if you don't pin this on someone good, and do it fast, they will identify and execute everyone present at the lynching. This in turn will force the Union to respond.
The débardeurs have over 2,000 men. It will be 1,000 to 1.
Have you ever seen a hornet invade a beehive, Lieutenant? It's not pretty.
The Serai's giant hornet, the world's 2nd largest insect, can kill 40 honeybees a minute, while a group of 30 can decimate an entire hive of 20,000 bees in less than 4 hours.
These men work in tandem using semi- and fully automatic firearms. Their armor is virtually impenetrable to muzzle-loaded weapons, even yours. Most Union workers don't have guns at all.
Да, они просто расстреляют их, пока те будут в тряпье сидеть. Из того самого двора зайдут. Один во дворе засяют, другой на выходе. 8 этих перестреляют, да, отойдут.
The muzzle loaders need to be reloaded after every 1 or 2 shots. The automatics every 1 or 2 minutes.
Ну вот, да. Полуавтоматом. Или автоматом вообще.
As I said, a bloodbath.
О чем думают птицы, вообще непонятно. Они же знали, да, что их трое? Или они не знали, что их трое? А, ну понятно, о чем они думали. Они покрывают, наверное, какую-то женщину, которая 8-я. Ким, та самая великая резня, про которую я говорил все это время.
It appears you found it, yes, and I'm not happy for you.
Too many things have already gone wrong. Lieutenant W. Freighter Dubois. All we can do is keep that which is not from following suit. One single concrete suspect delivered into civil court, and I may be able to defuse this situation.
Кренель, что за Кренель?
Not much. Their public resume is relatively good, as far as private military contractors go. I believe they were once called Downwell. They boast a long list of clients: Saint-Baptiste, Welchman Lorenz, Eintracht. A warning sign, however. The operations concerned all take place in third or fourth world countries. Guarding facilities, escort missions and such.
Meaning they're used to operating in war zones.
Yes. All the good conflict corridors, Supramundi, Yesut, the Seminese Islands, countries that don't have a good record reporting atrocious military conduct on their soil. Sadly, no. Before this happened, I had little interest in them. Now that I do, I don't have the resources. If you still have access to the ICP's database, you could run a better background check than I ever could. It may take some time, though.
The International Collaboration Police, ICP, is charged with coordinating law enforcement activities in complex multinational investigations. Their database is the single largest source of information in the world.
Do you know a lot about the inner workings of the RCM and the ICP, ma'am?
In my line of work, it pays to do your research. I was prepared to deal with the RCM. I did not think I'd be dealing with a group like Crenell. I have, and they will. However, these orders take time to reach what is basically a rogue unit out in the field here. Until they do, it's all on us.
She's being truthful. She is pressing them as hard as she can.
Or he didn't. This is information passed on to me from some teenagers loitering around the canal. I cannot testify by it.
Подростки у канала.
The remaining contractors. Their tribunal. It's what they believe.
Остальные наемники, их трибунал. Это то, что, по их мнению, произошло.
That the man was killed because he assaulted a local woman. I've asked around a bit. This seems to be the accepted story around Martinez.
The lieutenant consults his notebook, his eyebrows knitted in concentration.
Odd. We haven't heard any reports about an assault in connection with the lynching. Where did it take place? And when?
Last Sunday night, at the Whirling in Rags, the hostel by the gates. Supposedly, the colonel was drunk, maybe on narcotics too. Either way, he's alleged to have sexually assaulted a woman. Sometime later, a group of dock workers got their hands on him. That's a good question, officer. I don't have the slightest idea. As I said, it's a rumor. About a rumor. In any case, it's what the colonel's remaining colleagues believe. If you mean did I see him alive, yes. But I did not know him. Lely, his service name, a nom de guerre most likely. He wouldn't divulge his full name. Only one of them did. A bad sign if there ever was one. One is a man, Corty, they call him, a nickname as well. The other a woman, Phyllis DePaul. Corty is the gunner, I believe. DePaul is a radio operator.
What would you say was his eye color, the deceased's?
She closes her eyes, trying to picture the man's face. Then
I can't remember.
the lieutenant was testing her, asking a small detail first to see if she knew him better than she let on. She passed.
That's all right, ma'am. Anything else? Nationality? What would you say was his age?
He was 40. Or 50. It's hard to say which. He had a combat injury on his lower jaw. It made it difficult to estimate his age, or gauge his facial expressions.
У него было повреждена нижняя челюсть уже. Это вот то, что как раз Ким копался.
Indeed. This matches the dental reconstruction we saw on the body. What else? Nationality? Accent?
He was, Occidental, I think. Light brown hair, a mixed accent, Oranese, or Messinian, maybe. His injury gave him an accent all his own. In a way, it was humanizing. He had to learn to speak through it, through the injury. That's all I know, I guess. I only met him once.
Must be hard to force your face to move in a new fashion. If you continue like this, you'll have an aneurysm. Then you'll have to.
They've gone to ground, as it were. I don't recommend seeking them out. For one, they're almost certainly armed to the teeth. They don't have the same respect for the Revachol citizens' militia as I do. To put it bluntly, they think you're vigilantes. Ghetto savages. It will not be a fruitful meeting. You're likely to run into them eventually. When that happens, I'll be in a better position to mediate if I don't appear involved.
Держите наемники. Наемники из Wild Pines плюс. Одежда плохо подобрана. Воу. Мощное телосложение. Лидер антистачников. Не прошел проверку биографии. Не прошло проверку биографии. Это где еще? Это он. Наемник. Возле ворот антистачник.
One is obviously the scab leader at the harbor gates. The one chanting the idiotic slogans. He's barely maintaining his disguise.
That may be so. I still hope you heed my advice. There's no need to kick the hornet's nest.
For all your talk of averting this catastrophe, the situation at the gate is a powder keg. Does this not bother you?
Of course it bothers me, Lieutenant. But my hands are tied. How would my employer react if it appeared I were intervening on behalf of the Union?
Your concern may be appearances. Ours is keeping the peace.
I hope I can answer it better. Until the executions start? Truthfully, I don't know. It depends on their progress identifying the members of the lynch mob, and their impatience.
They don't report their progress to you?
Not on this matter. I'm afraid they consider this a personal initiative. It's a matter of days, not weeks. I am sorry to have been the bearer of bad news. If there is anything else I can help you with, please, of course. Excuse my hesitation before.
For about half a minute, in silence.
It was taken with a trigette not long ago. This is the man's upper body. There were no more markings on his hands or legs.
Her mouth is relaxed. The accordion lines near her mouth vanish. The pearls of her eyes move slowly on the photo's surface.
Sorry. I was trying to see if I can read the web of interdependencies between these points. The stars. I can't. But that's how you read this story. The points themselves don't have letters, numbers, anything. Their size, location on the body, and distance from each other tells you what they represent.
Промолчать, как цветы, сплетенные на узор. Какие цветы?
Port cities. On the oceans. This is an Oronese map of the waterways, a sailor's tattoo worn by wayfarers of the Delorian century. As early as 300 years ago, the sailors would mark their bodies to map their travels. His platoon members? The other contractors, though I do not suggest you go and show them that picture. This man was their friend and comrade.
Surely there are other people to ask about the tattoo. This is not necessary to complete the task, officer. It's a dangerous side task. Search elsewhere. Challenge accepted. I say we do it.
Грубая сила. Через грубую силу можно пройти, да, это задание? Записать, спросить у наемников о татуировках. Блин. Ё-моё,
Do what you have to do, Detective Dubois. I don't think deciphering that tattoo should come before public security. But if you should wade into the mob to find out, I couldn't stop you.
Ну, я так понял, что либо я принял это задание, либо я его не принял, но теперь я могу его просто не выполнять. То, что я могу на стороне поспрашивать, так и так можно. Я так думаю.
We will be careful, ma'am.
The sailor's soul would use it to fly back home if they should die abroad. This is a sort of contraption to be reeled back in by. The silver cord, they would call it. Quite a few. Vredefort, the Oronese capital, traditionally stands on the right shoulder. He started somewhere near here, I think.
What next?
Then he made his way to the Pretto Grande, through what I think must be the Stutz Canal, an artificial channel through the Occident. From the Pretto, he sailed to the Insulindic Ocean, first the Semines Islands, then this. Revachol. Those are the two constants. Vredefort on the shoulder, and Revachol in the heart. They started the tradition of these maps right after the discovery of Insulinde, at the dawn of the Interinsulary Age.
The old world passing by, and the new world already here.
You said you can't read it.
I can't. This man was no sailor, and these are no ports. I can understand geographic fragments, but not their meaning.
Поспрашивайте еще.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
Да.
This.
Yes, reality is your side case, an experimental side case.
How truly really curious. A sort of philosopher-detective.
Are they now?
A deep synthesis. I'll assist you however I can then. Go ahead. Ask.
All right, we're in. I know these all look good, but begin with the first, okay?
Знаешь, все выглядят хорошо. Начните с Долорес Дэй. Долорес Дэй. Тут такая, блин. Полицейская волна 14, у меня есть 4. Концептуализация 20, у меня есть 6. 14 надо выбросить. Невозможно. Да почему 3%? 0% надо писать. 17%.
We're in Martinez, baby. A casual term of endearment popular among the 50-plus crowd. Aren't we all?
She refers to your corresponding ages.
Martinez is a dish. You would be excused for not knowing about it. Unimportant. I'm not a good ambassador. As I told you, Martinez used to be a province, a workers' resort. It's not really a sea, it's the Bay of Revachol. And the bay feeds into the ocean. Yes, we're on an island in an ocean, the world's largest body of water, the insular...
Known to the early Revacholians as Les Immensités Bleues, the Blue Immensities.
Caillou, as you already know. Imagine a pebble. A smoothed-over pebble amidst a great blue sea, misshapen, cracked. The cracks are the river Esperance. We're in the delta of this river, on the 6th branch, the Martinez distributary.
Я не понимаю, так мы в заливе или... Блин. У реки Эсперанс. Мы находимся в ее дельте. Шестой рукав реки, рукав дельты Мартинез.
It is clear this pebble is of enormous value to her and to humanity at large.
Revachol, the great kind. History detective. They built this city to resolve the nations of the in the DeLoreans. They say it, by that I mean, we are standing on a fertile, self-sufficient island able to sustain up to 200 million people in the middle of the Insulindic Ocean. Oh, we're quite a way off. About...
A sparkle of lights on the horizon, like evening stars above the curvature of the planet.
22 kilometers from the center of the world. That soldering iron...
Silence. She looked. The water, the light. It's as though you're seeing it. There is no recognition. Only the immensity of the sea and the cold radiate.
We are where we are. I have no true answer to give, unfortunately.
This is one thought you need to complete. Where are you?
Was there something else you want?
This has been... Might I suggest not asking them all right now? Madame Messier will be here later too, and tomorrow. Isn't that true, ma'am?
Absolutely. My commitment here is long-term.
Нет, у меня еще не закончилось.
Oh, of course not. You are already diligent for getting this far, and diligent boys remain.
Indeed. I'm always at your service.
Окей, продолжаем.
We're in Martinez. You would be excused for not... I would be happy to. These are unimportant times for the...
The smile of a predator. No doubt what she's got.
All men are predators, dear. Nothing much to be done. The revolution. It's quite easy. Every 100 years or so, those would be the communists. Generally speaking...
She's not gloating. It's a relieved celebration.
40 миллионов человек, нифига себе.
Oh, and the anarchists too. They shot them well. Did they ever? Before they got shot themselves, they shot...
Yeah, it was a kerfuffle, all right.
Yes, the Insulindian deluge, they call it. Oh, lots of people. Even the king got shot in the head, or thrown beneath a horse, or drowned. Accounts differ. It was unceremonious. The real king abdicated and lived out a long and productive life as a venture capitalist in Grad. About head shooting. The liberals got the mineral rights. And by mineral rights, I mean everything. Liberals are usually middle-class people, Detective. Or the remaining gentry. The beneficiaries of the pre-revolutionary arrangement. Some were rich enough to stay with the Constitution. They didn't win so much as...
We. She's one of them. Of course.
To foreign intervention. The coalition. Those people really took the mineral rights. The liberals took everything that wasn't nailed to the ground. The coalition of...
There is bitterness in her voice, tempered with understanding. She is...
The moralists believe in keeping everything exactly the way it is. They believe in mineral rights, and not shooting people in the head. At least not in the same manner and volume as the others do. They are...
The rulers of Revachol, and also...
This is their zone of control. They embolden the RCM with crumbs of the same law they took. Technically speaking, you are a moralist.
The color of moralism is blue. The official motto of Moral Intern, or Moralist International, is a blue forget-me-not, a piece of grey sky. Unofficial. For a moment, there was hope.
A devout man of the center. Hard to come by. It's good to have someone who takes a moderate approach to head shooting. The turn of the century, the revolution began. It wasn't a who, but a what. A pandemic of Zarat, a particularly virulent prion disease, which the authorities in Grad proved unable to contain. Then it made people overthrow their governments. Of course not. It was a highly from Revachol and Grad? Not far. The world managed by you and I, officer. A city-state divided into free market zone. The zone of control is the third incarnation of Revachol. After the failure of modernity, they developed the marvels of the...
51 minus 8 equals 43.
Чего? Ну, я прокручиваю, да, там, оставляю вам время на паузу поставить. В современном появились чудеса межизоларной коммуникации. Телематические сборники. Радиация, цветной пластик. Тем временем западная Рошель вот уже 5 десятков лет не может справиться с последствиями тех событий. 51-8, 43. Хотите сказать, что это продолжается уже 43 года?
Time flies. The 20s saw a decade of urban war west of the 30s. Things settled down in the 30s. No. It was a market mirage fueled by Welcome to reality, baby.
Нет, это был рыночный мираж, подпитываемый кокаином и денежными вливаниями. 40-е стали для всех отрезвляющим ушатом холодной воды, будто вся изола отходила от тяжелого похмелья. И вот мы здесь, она делает реверанс. Добро пожаловать в реальный мир, пупсик.
From the looks of it, the 50s haven't been much better for the zone of control. You can see it in her eyes. Days slipping away.
Это закончено где? Боже мой, ничего не отмечено. Активный тоже не отмечено. Вот, все.
I've no right to be dissatisfied. We could have had so much more. Good question. What would you have done differently? And I asked you, philosopher detective.
Here's some wisdom, lady. Say the death thing. The cold runs down your spine as you say the words, like a small electric charge that seeks...
I see. A tenth of humanity. The key of history is in the lock. Keep turning at any cost.
The wind stops, and for a moment, there's silence. The cold dissipates into your parietal lobe, like a dissolved bullet. All is quiet on the... A dog barks. A gunshot echoes off the walls of some distant building. A woman's voice.
It's all yours.
All yours? That's been the motto of many an Indo tribe. There is something clarifying about, believe it or not, Wild Pines isn't even the most notorious example. That would be Saint-Baptiste. You can go quite far with that attitude.
Opinions expressed here do not reflect the official position of the RCM.
And what is your official position?
My position, ma'am? My parents got ripped to shreds in the revolution. I would have gone the same way. I was saved by being 2 years old. That's my position. The abattoir.
Understandable. They are what they are. Who knows? An afterbloom may yet come. Anyway, enough sentimentality.
Not so fast. Who is she in all this? Ask her who she is. She owes you an answer. She won't maneuver her way out of this one.
I am the vilest of the vile. A traitor. A devourer of nations and infants. I am an ultra.
It's sharp.
Крестишься ты, либерал.
Yes. I am the nether creature of the Forbidden Swamp. I pushed the king under a shit wagon and betrayed the revolution. My kind surrendered the nation to financial colonists. I can see you thought our kind were all extinct. After all, no sane person identifies as this anymore. Not in broad daylight. I can...
In her green eyes you see a mixture of truth and self-satire. Decades of guilt and pride.
I do hope so. I do hope we're able to remain collegial despite it all. Tell me, when you look in the... When the dust settled, the Liberals were the only ones left to clean up the mess. By virtue of... With due respect to our overlords, the Eternal...
While a gentle wind sweeps the streets.
I would not have relinquished sovereignty to the Coalition. Then for my daughters, we had an obligation to defend our sovereignty. We should have burned the whole Isla down rather than let them have it. Yes, I suppose I am. But I would...
Seditious talk, man.
Yes. Whatever else I am, I'm also a mother and a wife. Now, shall we return to reality? A bird? Some sort of krill hunter? Of course you're not, my dear. I'm just terrible at guessing. Ah! This is the... or two. A pre-revolutionary tenement. This one used to be 8. Mostly the urban middle class, I believe. Splat, splat.
You could be wrong, but from here it appears as if she's running the brush across her throat in a...
Wonderful. The girl in the old lady rags. Looks like a sullen and rebellious member of a teen infraculture. Yes, you and I belong to the supraculture. She prefers a fantasy world, an infraculture with its own dress code and vernacular. It is young people who dye their hair funny colors and wear old people's clothes are stupid, and their little rebellion is self-defeating. All right, what next?
It remains a mystery what you mean by this something close. This isn't about you. It's about reality.
Так, еще раз, у меня 6. Мне надо 14 кинуть. Пошли
Glad to have been
отсюда.
of assistance.
Tremble. The time is now. Ta'ola. Time for the show. For Ta'ola. The hallowed time of fear and disintegration. A countdown has begun. All will collapse on itself. The world will disappear into a single grain of blackness. All sound will be muted. All life will scream. Ulogu theodos, xino zausin, ipoli osithien, echondes fronisin. Monday morning, the moment you arrived in this reality, are the first crack in the sheer face of God. From you it will spread. Yes, you spoke the words of the palindropos and the houses of Pericarnassus. Items, people, even words will tumble. All will lose its meaning in the coming years. That is why you marked yourself. So you should be. The world island crumbles at your feet, and in the far plain, Palindropos. Perhaps, just a thought, this has something to do with the hangover. It's totally also a coping mechanism. The face of the woman fractures. There will be herd killing. We all become vapor. Wumpty Dumpty Dum Center. You're at home, stupid cop. Not with the art crowd. You hate them. Everyone hates them. Even they hate themselves. It's nauseating. An industry built on sprezzatura and sparkling wine. And, let's be honest, tax evasion schemes. The Wumpty Dumpty Dum Center is the heart of this unholy symbiosis of aesthetics and tax optimization. And now that you've internalized it, you can have a piece too.
Объем внушения -2. Надменный мудила. Пассивные проверки энциклопедии дают 10 очков опыта и 2 реала. Ну, это очень круто. Пассивные проверки энциклопедии дают 10 опыта и 2 реала. Это давно надо было исследовать.
Actual art degree. Trite, contrived, mediocre, milquetoast, amateurish, infantile, cliché and gonorrhea-ridden peon to conformism. I fucked me. Affront to humanity. War crime. Should literally be tried for war crimes. Resolutely shit. Lacking in imagination. Uninformed reimagining of. Lip-wristed, premature, ill-informed attempt at. Talentless fuckfest. Recidivistic shit peddler. Pedantic, listless, savagely boring. Just one repulsive laugh after another.
Банально натянуто. Настоящее художественное образование. Это теперь у меня такие реплики будут. -1 координация. Руки трясутся от ярости. Насколько все дерьмово. Пассивные проверки. Концептуализация. Даются 1 к боевому духу и 10 очков опыта. Концептуализация. Концептуализация. Энциклопедия и концептуализация. Боевой дух, а тут 2 монетки. Ништяк. Да одно другому, я так понимаю, противоречит. Это типа я за искусство? Вот, да, это они с этими кретинами от искусства, а это наоборот искусство, вет. Настоящее художественное образование. Руки трясутся от ярости, насколько все дерьмово. Ну, искусство вокруг хуёвое, а я в нем разбираюсь. Так, это энциклопедия. И второе, что... Концептуализация. 4. Вот эти 2 штучки надо подтянуть. Так, еще раз. 1 к боевому духу. Это за что? Концептуализация. Энциклопедия 2 реала. Интересно. Давайте энциклопедию качну. Ништяк. Побежали. Дверь что-то открылась. Энциклопедия зеркала. И все. Заглянем обязательно. Так, а тут что-нибудь есть?
Just an ordinary wall. Nothing to see here.
Так, 4 плюс 5, 9. Надо 9 выкинуть.
Yeah. Why? It's a wall.
Why must we stop to look at this wall every time we...
Когда-нибудь, Ким, я и сам это узнаю и тебе расскажу. Можно здесь в шуле поговорить. Так, но время уже позднее. Аккуратненько сложим наши наркотики. Фух, какой насыщенный день. В татуировках лидера антистачников. Ну что там вообще? Так, давай сначала сюда.
Behind the dockworkers, a ceiling height window.
Еще не
The
время. Когда
hawthorn
время?
branches scrape the glass like bony fingers. Behind the dockworkers, a ceiling height window. The hawthorn branches scrape the glass like bony fingers.
Он мне дает минус 12, еще не время. У меня это никак не прокатит. У меня 2 нуля выпадет. В любом случае. Когда время-то? Подожди, а что там? Подожди, за диалог.
Behind the dockworkers, there's a little slide panel up there to let some air in. No need to open it in spring. It's still too cold outside.
Это когда это... Летом, что ли?
Right to work! Right to work! Shame on you!
Hell no. I'm just an honest scab. I won't have talk like that around here. You understand?
His neck muscles tense up. The veins on his neck bulge. It just has to be said, that was not a convincing line.
Драма.
Fucking bug. How about you fuck off now, huh?
Okay, of course.
Fucking loincloth.
Loincloth? Now you see, that's not really what a scab would say, is it? Better not to press the issue further, sire. He seems tense.
Не развивай тему, он и так взволнован. У меня нет этой темы.
The man's breathing steadies, but his eyes are still narrow.
Don't think so.
Silence. He takes the photo. Grey eyes dart back and forth on the glossy surface. You see dead flesh in colorful rivers of polychrome, melting skin and hair.
Fucking loincloths. Really did him in. Yeah.
He's clenching his teeth. There is silent pressure behind them.
What it means. I can tell you what this one means. Only one. You want to hear what happened here? Our colonel is deep in the bush here. Deep in the fucking bush. In Benital, 41. Monsoon season. He's on a reconnaissance mission.
Benital is one of the inhabited islands of the Seminese archipelago near the Pale. Covered in jungle, it was anchor point for the Seminese nationalists in the proxy war held on the islanders' territory.
He spent a month behind enemy lines, scouting kept villages. Nothing but fucking bugs and snakes for fun. Men are getting restless. There's talk of switching employers.
With some strange emotion, this is about to get really graphic. Last moment to back off.
Our boy. He's only a captain then, but he knows how these men think. If they don't see action soon... At dawn, he comes upon two kids, breeding in the bushes by the river. Or maybe they weren't breeding. Maybe they were just making eyes at each other. I like to think they were breeding. We shot the boy. He was useless, but the girl, she was nice. A little fat, you know, but not too old. She was quite the entertainment for the week she lasted, expired in the hands of Sarge Mason. The kind of guy who'd make Chief there shit his pants and cry like a bitch. God. Mason couldn't let go. Cut the tits off her cold body and fucking ate them. Said primitive spirits were watching over him now. Drowned in a creek a week later. Spirits my ass.
Something stirs in your stomach.
No, I was in the domain, in Jamrock, being a bouncer. Fucking mask is getting sweaty. I want to take my mask off. But...
Отдать ему фотку? Давай.
Nah, you've earned it. All right now. Free commerce! Keep the goods flowing!
On the photo in your hands, the dead man's skin is studded with stars. Tens, hundreds of them, littering his dead skin.
Я ключом. Да, надо было, конечно, приодеться для этих разговоров. Концептуализация, вот, грубая сила. Стойкость тоже интересно. Репет тоже интересно. Электрохимия, драма. Электрохимия. Королевство совести. Эмпатия. Логика минус. Визуальный анализ. Болевой порог, кстати. На шее у нас. Сумрак. Электрохимия, эмпатия. Ну, да, это лучший, наверное, вариант. А что там? Сигареты уже прошли, да? А, так, хотел вот это убрать.
Right to work! Free flow of commerce!
Don't talk to him any longer. Just leave, please.
А, ну без фонаря вообще ничего не видно.
The man's breathing. It's hard to do that when you want to beat a man into a pulp instead.
А, ну мы ставим на позицию, окей.
Right to work! Right to work! Honest men, we came here.
I have a...
You think they follow because I'm big and we were promised work.
The physically impressive man tower has turned his attention back.
Так, окей, это готово. Что у нас осталось? Поговорите с мусоркой, заберите свой пистолет. Речь с игральных костей. Ассель, чтобы он рассказал о своих товарищах. Как это сделать? Оказывается, говорить о друзьях. Может, она станет более общительной, когда вы поможете им открыть ночной клуб. Настроиться на одну волну с Нойком. Не знаешь, что он сможет рассказать. Попробуйте помочь ему и его друзьям, чтобы показать, что вы один. Но я их уже прокинул. Все еще убедите сонную пойти на сотрудничество с реверами или выгоните ее из церкви. Поднимите свой авторитет в глазах Тита, найдите Морелла, криптозоолога, это еще можно сделать, найдите Спиды. Это, блин, к этому Куна. Разгоните кровь, кто сложил одежду в мусор. У кого еще есть несанкционированный доступ к мусору танцев? Найдите этого человека, и вы знаете, кто потасовал улики на месте преступления. Но это в подвал надо идти. Татуировки же. Спросите еще кого-нибудь о том, что могут значить татуировки. Кто позвонил в участок. Даже если у вас нет никаких очевидных зацепок, продолжайте искать. Это может потребоваться много времени. Исследуйте потайный коридор танцев. Найдите вход в потайной коридор. Спойте, найдите катушку с грустной песней. В чем заключается загадка? Раз. Ох, ничего. Не хочу. Так. Коп апокалипсиса. Женевью. Временных бонусов нет. Особо административный регион Ревашор. Я не помню, что он там дает. Суперзвезда какая-то. Минус логика. Лимит улучшения повышать. Но это можно выкинуть нафиг. Давайте выкинем, может, ее нафиг. Суперзвезда какая-то. Лимит до 6. Внушение. Ну вот визуальный анализ. Визуальный анализ хорош. Внушение. Сейчас 4. Что там еще-то было? Внушение минус 1. Что это мысль пассивно? Логику у меня портит. Что там, какие еще? Одинокая дорога домой. Лимит улучшения повышается до 5 восприятия. Спиды дают 1 пси. Фигня какая, да? Эмпатия, электрохимия, бонусы от мысли. Чтобы достичь цели, придется бросить наркотики. Она может перерасти в РФП. Необъяснимо. Революционно, что ли? Блин, что-то она никак не перерастает. Наверное, эмпатию надо поднять. Обычный служитель закона, трепет. Внутренняя империя, лимит улучшения всех навыков повышается до 3. Ну, это интересно, конечно. У меня, да, вот здесь вот есть. Но это вообще не скоро. Там, ну, все можно выкидывать, на самом деле. Социоэкономический мазовизм. 4 очка опыта. Визуальный анализ, авторитет минус. Давай выкинем ее нафиг. Эквилибристика, риторика. Бредни безумца, коп апокалипсиса. Жемлавю. Коп апокалипсиса. Выкинули я его сразу? Вот вопрос. Вот эту я вряд ли выкину. Ну, давай ее и закинем. My Weather. Ну, не My Weather, конечно. Fair Weather. Fair, честно. Давайте тут пробегусь быстренько. Вот это сначала я на нее подумал.
The woman still has no response. Where?
Наверное, уже поздно, надо спать идти. Руины, засыпанные снегом, здесь больше никто не живет.
An old monument stand. A silver. As you look up, you notice something about the statue. There are some odd indentations on the. Something with great kinetic energy seems to have impacted the cuirass, around where the heart is. Someone shot him in the heart. Interesting.
Okay, I can't see it, but I take your word for it. Well, Martinez is riddled with bullet holes. This place saw a lot of action during the revolution, but the statue is recently renovated, so maybe a joke? Target practice or a political statement? Why not? What this shows us is guns aren't too uncommon here, and people still shoot them. Sometimes...
The king stands high above you.
Или что, прокликать все? Есть ли
Yes.
в этом смысл? Да ничего.
An old monument. Something. Someone shot. The monument stands high. Something. Someone.
Okay, well, Martinez is riddled. Why not?
The king stands high. Someone shot.
Okay. Well, Martinez is riddled. Why not?
The king stands higher. Someone shot it.
Okay. Well, Martinez. If we connect every bullet hole in Martinez to the murderer, we'll get an overwhelming amount of loose threads. But then again, our guy was shot, and that hole would be recent.
Это вместе свежее.
It's not completely tangential, at least worth noting down. I wouldn't hold my breath, though.
The king stands higher.
Да, бей. Так, я хочу побольше этой энциклопедии сейчас заделать. 10 фунтов.
Now it's turning into a kind of a snow limbo, man.
Пим-пим-пим-пим. А, ну здесь я уже не ночую. Блин, как же мне эти-то сделать? Быстрое перемещение. Штанга, грубая сила может мне поддаться. Зеркало. О, место назначения находится здесь. Вот она, родимая. Отлично, все, разобрался.
It's getting late and it's snowing.
Good night, officer.
Ну ладно, неплохо. Что-то там чуть-чуть двинулись вперед, но то, что надо было сделать, сделали. Допросили эту. Как ее зовут-то, я не помню, блин, уже. В общем, женщина с этой Swell Pines. И это самое главное. Лайки прожмите, спасибо, что посмотрели. Всем хорошего настроения, скоро увидимся, пока.